What is up, my Little Deinos? Vepsis, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are finally here for the UBL Season 3 Week 5 battle versus Skyrander and his team being the Scandinavian Stoutlands. Big shoutouts to SlackOut for his efforts with the graphics itself, including making the thumbnail for me on the last minute. I really appreciate it. His social links will be down below in the description. Make sure to check him out. Big shoutouts to also Frosted for recording the game for me. Yet again on the last minute, considering this battle was done on a Thursday night on this week. So big shoutouts to those two people. They are amazing. Just eventually what I have got to know part of them, they're amazing people and definitely worth to check out, and big thank you for them for their efforts this week for me. And my opponent will be deciding to bring Kyurem-Black, Mega Scissors, Chandelo, Barbarical, Gyarados and SareneGrace. And now let's go and finally see what's going to happen in this battle. It's going to be very epic for sure. And I'm gonna be leading up with my SilverBeanie right here because I want to get up my Stealth Rocks, considering half of his team, what he brought, is weak to it. So having them up potentially early on can be very beneficial for me. And having a lead that can be able to deal with SareneGrace 1v1 was also a big upside into that. But he does potentially see that coming from my behalf and does lead with the Kyurem-Black. And that is a very unfortunate situation for me. So I did not get my lead right, what I was hoping for. And I have to swap into my Alola. And the reason for that is basically because I have to scout for the hidden power fire here. Off the chance he predicts my scissor to be the switching, and I can take the ice beam relatively well. And that happens to be a crit, but after the battle I'm gonna be talking how that was actually one of the better outcomes that could have been for me, considering what other things could have been the case here. But yet again, we're gonna be touching later on that one. But now I have to go scout for the Earth Power and being expert boosted Kyurem-Black, because the Earth Power could have potentially killed me on that range. And that is why I swap into my Moltres. He swapped into his Mega Scissor. I was like, okay, that was a great double for me, and it worked out better because how he decided to play that turn, and it gave me opportunity to make a crazy double into my Greninja, knowing that he would not stay in, and he's gonna swap into Chandelo most likely, and this gives me a free attacking move if I decide to go so on this turn. And I do decide to go for this serve here over Dark Pulse, which could have done more to this Kyurem-Black and not been a resistant hit, but I want to respect the Cold Berry to be a thing on Chandelo, potentially besides maybe being Choice Scout versus me. So one of those two items are the ones that I expected it to be if being brought versus me, so I respect it as such. And based on the damage that I did, or the very little damage that I did, that seems to me to be a Southwest Kyurem-Black, unless he's just very specially bulky another item. But because of that, I have a fair switching now into Alola. Even if he predicted that like he did with Earth Power, because Bob is doing something that no other mod, or rarely you get to see this happening, which is 1v1ing defensively a motherfucking Kyurem-Black in traffic format. I know for one how threatening and powerful this mod can be in traffic format, hard to switching to, but Bob is doing his best, chewing these hits like it's his breakfast, with his berry to be just an appetizer alongside with that. And we are just keeping ourselves healthy, eating these hits and these berries, and putting ourselves into better health, which is even more impressive considering all things that we are gaining health on this 1v1 situation. And this shows why I love the recycled Figgy Berry Bob set in Draft League format. It can 1v1 so many things, it's ridiculous. And now we are in a good amount of health, and we have the berry intact, and this is great. And now I decide to hard swap into my Moltres off the chance he wants to go for the U-turn, because if I stay in and go for Fire Punch, it's too obvious and he's able to make a proper play, seeing that I would stay in. So considering that he's gonna be attempting to do that, I want to burn this thing with the potential Flame Body getting activated. And then if he goes into Kyurem-Black and Fusion Bolt me, or goes into SareneGrace and Plasma Fist me, I can burn them with my Will-O-Wisp. And on SareneGrace's case, I can still potentially burn it with Flame Body if he does make contact on me. with the 30% of chance, but he does go into Zeraora, goes for the Volt Switch, which is not what I was hoping for to be the case, and that is a specially orientated Zeraora based on the damage. So this really backfired on me, that I wasn't hoping to see to be the case as I prepped for this battle, and now he's able to go into the Chandelure and potentially expecting a Fire type move or the Will-O-Wisp, which was the play that I decided to make. And here I'm gonna be swapping into Bob right here. There is no reason for me to stay in and take a potential Shadow Ball, as he's gonna be making a double and swapping into the... don't remember the name, but it's the Zeraora. So he's swapping into the Zeraora and goes for the Volt Switch yet again. And now we are able to take this hit, and I do go for the Fire Punch. I did want to go for the knockoff initially, but I thought the Mega Scissor would come in like last time, but that's not the case. I wish I went for the knockoff, because we're gonna be seeing that he's a Intimidate Gyarados, and we are gonna be going for the Fire Punch, and it's literally doing nothing to this thing, considering it's resisted hit and Intimidate. And here I was like, okay, I can go for the Thunder Punch here, leaving in a range of Scissor or Greninja, so I'm okay here. I should be okay here, right? Come on, Bob. Give a huge hit on this. I know... oh shit, it has a Wakam Berry. Oh shit, it has a Wakam Berry. That's not in the range of Hidebo Electric. Let's go, Bob. We got a fucking paralyzation through the Thunder Punch, and I'll definitely take it. Considering what happened in the D League, this is karma at its worst or best, depending whose view it is. For Skyrander's case, it's the worst. From my point of view, it's at its best, because this is literally the opposite situation in some shape of form, replicating to the what happened in the finals in itself. And now I'm able to go into my Celebi, get the Stealth Rocks up, forcing him to take a damage with the Rocky Helmet. Even though I could have gone for the Zen Headbutt, knowing that I outspeed it, because it's paralyzed. I know when he goes for the bounce that it's 2-turn move, he doesn't have the C move. I can recover right here, leave myself outside of range of Adamant +1 bounce, if he was able to contact that, but he wasn't able to do that. And I now go for the Zen Headbutt. I'm like, Celebi, you won't be wanting a thing that you were a potential setup fodder on, but considering what Paul was able to do there with the paralyzation through the Thunder Punch, Celebi, for all things almighty, was able to kill that thing, which I was very heavily prepared for with all of the other mods in itself. So things did not go like I was planning to do, and there was no way for me to plan that. I won't say I'm the most luckiest player out there, because I'm sure there are other people that are way unluckier than me, but I'm definitely not a lucky player by any means. So that was something that I did not expect to be the case, and I'm very, very fortunate. I don't know when it's going, like, I don't know which year it's gonna be that next time I'm gonna be this lucky on a battle on that kind of specific situation. But either way, he's able to go into his Mega Scissor. I went into my Moltres knowing that he's probably gonna be clicking Defog either way, but this gives me an opportunity. Go for Hidebo Electric, expect the Chandelure, but no, he expects me to go for a Flying type move potentially, to be able to resist that, and being now immune to Hidebo Electric, because I happen to go for that on that case. And now he does make a double, expecting probably my Alola Mach or maybe a Celebi, but either way he knows that my Celebi doesn't have a Grass type move on it, because he has seen my full moveset. So now he's capable of going for free Shell Smash, and because I don't have speed investment, I do not know on this note that if he's Adamant or Jolly. But even if I knew, there's nothing I can do for it except one thing, of U-turning here and hope for the fact that he's Adamant. If he is Jolly, I lose here. Just like that. I can lose to this thing, right? Just like that, because I'm made a big kahunas prep of having Modest Nature instead of Timid. But let's go. He is Adamant. We can pop that thing with the Crash Knot, and there's no way you're living this. Get that thing out of my sight. And the two water types that I was really fearing throughout the prep, and Greninja has the proper coverage to deal with them, was able to get the job done, and we are up 6-4, and now the Zeraora comes in. I'm gonna be going to my Celebi, because it's literally only meant for this thing, even though it's shown to be special, but I don't need it for anything else on his team. So I'm gonna allow him to take some, or Celebi to take damage from this thing, as he does go for the Hidden Power Ice, predicting that. but because the natural bulk of Celebi is able to take 2 of those relatively well, and I don't need this thing to be like super healthy because it has only had one job, which is this thing, to deal with it if it was a physical oriented, which was something that I prepared for more. And now I was able to get a U-turn, which was a crit, which means that it took a little bit more damage than it was supposed to do. So I'm getting some little unfortunate things as well, besides the one huge one. Besides that, on that note, and now I'm able to get my Mega Gallade in, Mega Evolve, and go for a Train Punch, because I don't expect the Chandelure to come in on this note when this Aurora is in front of me, and he would have to respect me to go for like a Psychic type move or for a knockoff, for example. So he does go into his Mega Scissor, and I go for the Train Punch and do a good amount of damage, gain some health back after taking that Volt Switch from this Aurora, and now I do make a double, which is kind of like a middle ground play, I would say, cause it's covering the Mon in front of me, but it's covering also the Chandelure coming in on potential Fire Punch, in a way that I can force Chandelure to click a specific move instead of something that I would have to feel more. And this allows me to play a little bit more aggressive here, because there's no way you're clicking Energy Ball in front of Moltres. You're clicking one of your stabs, so I'm gonna go into my Greninja and be able to do a little bit more damage to a potential Kyurem-Black if I get this right, than I do. And I don't need Greninja fully healthy. It's better for me to get this around the range of Torrent for late game. So that's kind of like what I thought in there, to allow Greninja to take the damage instead of my Bob. So here I do go for the Dark Pulse, unlike last time when I go for the Surf respecting the Colbur Berry. Now I thought that okay, he used Kyurem-Black as switching as last time, so I'm gonna be doing more damage to it, and now it should be in a guaranteed range of Train Punch unless he has a lot of bulk. And on that note, if he has that bulk, I'm not fearing it as much. And now he does go for the Fusion Bolt as I was sacking my Celebi, but I live because I resist that, and I'm at 18 HP. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for my Stealth Rocks as last ditch effort, but he does hard swap into the Mega Scissor immediately. Probably just wanted to get rid of the Rocks as sap, considering that I would go for them probably as a last ditch effort. I would think that was his case for making that play. And because of that, as he comes in and I got my Rocks up, I expected to go for the default, not going for something like Bullet Punch. So I get the U-turn off. Even though it doesn't do much, it's still worth the take. You never know. And now I can go into my Mega Gallade here. And now I do go for the Fire Punch on the next turn, because I didn't reveal it last time. So I'm banking on the fact that, okay, he may not anticipate me to have it anymore, because I would have gone it honestly on the first time, or from his point of view, I would think. So he does stay in and go for the Bullet Punch, maybe thinking that okay, he can 1v1 and take a Train Punch and go for 2 consistent Bullet Punches, or just sucking it off. Either way it works out for me, because I do kill it with the Fire Punch. And now this Aurora comes in. I'm like, okay, it's 3 versus 6, so I have most that are weakened down, but there is one Mon that is looking really nice for the late game, and that is Bob, who is gonna be coming in and gonna be taking any hit from this thing, and meaning that I can eat the berry once more, because we are on a berry diet over here with Bob, and we are gonna be recycling this on the following turn, because of course we do, to make sure that we are as healthy as possible. He's gonna be going for the close combat, but we eat that like a champ. Like, Bob is having a lunch and breakfast at the same time, including it, or meaning that I guess this is a huge ass brunch that Bob is having already on a Saturday. For you to see. So either way, we are gonna be able to 1v1 this thing to the point that we are able to get ourselves in a good amount of health. And now he's able to go for the Volt Switch, as I do go for the Recycle again, because there's no reason honestly not to, because I'm able to keep my Bob as healthy as possible and the berry intact, and having as easy time as possible to 1v1 his entire team, as long as I don't get hacked. And now his Kyurem-Black does come in, and on this note, I do want to avoid potential hacks by Ice Beam or crit Earth Power or crit anything. So I'm gonna be going to my Scissor, preserving my Alola Mach as best as possible for what I really need it for. And I don't expect him to click Hidden Power Fire. And my Scissor can eat any one hit from this Kyurem-Black just fine. And now I can go for the Bullet Punch. Hopefully he overpredicts, as he does potentially here. And he does let me to pick off the Kyurem-Black, so he has 2 Mons remaining, being the Zeraora and the Chandelure. And now Bob is looking phenomenal here. And now I'm gonna be making the swap into my Alola here, cause there's no reason not to. I'm banking on that he's clicking a Fire Blast or anything like that, cause I feel like that's literally his best play. But he does go for the Will-O-Wisp, and Bob is just like, get that shit out of here, that's not touching me. And we are gonna be swapping the heck out of there, and we are gonna be going to the Greninja, because I figured that, well, he's probably gonna be clicking it again because he missed it, and that is the case what he decides to do. With this burn, it's kind of helping me a little bit, because I'm not running any physical attacking moves, I should say, and it does allow me to whittle down to potentially in a range of Torrent if that would ever come into play. But I don't have the time to do that, and I'm gonna be going for the Serve just to pick up this Chandelure or doing the damage to the Zeraora if he would have preserved that thing, but he doesn't. And now there is one more remaining in a ways of us having our revenge versus Skyrander, and that is Zeraora, and there is only one more that is probably to come in and finish this game off, and that is my Bob, unless it gets hacked over here, and that is still something that I really have to worry. Do not crit, do not paralyze me, do not do anything like that, and you don't. And Bob is gonna eat berry once more. I do not know how many times he has eaten a berry, but I'm loving it, and we are eating a berry once more, and I'm gonna be recycling back to our sauce. So as long as things don't go too much south over here, we can potentially just 1v1 this thing here and go from there. If I would have would get hacked over here, my best initial play from here would have been going to Scissor, get a quick attack off and leave it in a range of Greninja Sir, but you're gonna be able to tell that we are able to get a perfect result from this game, being a 6-0 win, which is somewhat appropriate in a way that we got a 10% para and kinda replicate the things that happened in the D League finals in a game that I should have won that game 6-0 back then, but I got 10% parad from a Thunderbolt from a Thundurus Incarnate, and my opponent got a 0.06 chance in end of result to win that game. But now, on week 5 on the UBL Season 3, we accomplished our revenge over Skyrander in a way that I did not want it to happen, but considering the result, I'll take it. I'll take it any time of the week, and I could have not been happier, because we are back in the winning side of the things. We are sitting at the 3-2 and plus 11 differential, which is huge. It's one of the biggest differentials throughout the league right now, and there are teams that still, or one team that is undefeated, and few teams that only have one loss, but we have a higher differential than them. So these 2 wins that we have gotten back-to-back weeks of 5-0 fashion, now 6-0 fashion, are really helping us after having a rocky start of 1-2 and plus 0 differential. So things are looking up for us. We are back on winning side of the things, and we are finally showcasing what we are capable of over here. But big shoutouts to my opponent of Skyrander. I promised I touched on the turn 1 thing where the crit happened, but it was one of the better things that could have happened to me compared to the other things that did, and that is the reason why I said was that Skyrander actually himself restarted the battle twice on that turn 1 play prior to this replay being happening finally, and the reason for that was that he actually froze my Alola Mach twice. On the first time we did it, it happened. On the second time after that, it happened yet again. He asked for the restart from me on Discord, but he actually did it immediately, even before I got the chance to answer it. So, big shoutouts to him for his sportsmanship. The reason for him doing that, obviously, is that he wanted to be, if he would be beating me, he wanted to do in a way that wasn't similar to the D League finals, where he was very fortunate. I have the most respect for that kind of attitude in draft league format. That's not something you see enough often, and honestly not often enough in my opinion in some aspects. Like, we as a players have to accept the RNG because it's part of the game. If you cannot accept it, even if you hate it, there's no reason to play it, and that's just how it is. But the sportsmanship that he showed to me this week on this battle, and giving the opportunity to have as clean as possible start to the battle, instead of just taking the freeze and capitalize on it, I could not be grateful for more for that, and I have to respect him a lot for doing that. So make sure to check him out, I would really appreciate it, and subscribe to him. He's a great family guy, great attitude for traffic format, and a great player too. The record that he has does not replicate that all this result from this battle either, because one, he inherited this team, he was only able to do a few changes to it, and I don't think this result of the battle showcased. Even though it's a 6-0, it's not really like a dominating 6-0. Things just went for me, and I was able to hang on to things that I was able to keep alive. And Bob honestly just came through in a class in big ways. Like, holy crap, Bob, you're amazing, and this is why I wanted to draft you yet again here in the main league. But thank you all for watching. Make sure to check out from my point of view. I'm sure he has great insight for things that happened and could have happened based on how the battle went in itself. And just make sure to subscribe to him. I would really appreciate it if you did. But until next week, when we go up against SareneGrace and try to replicate something that we were able to do in D League, which was beating her, we are gonna be trying to do that, keep up the momentum and push for the playoffs. But until then, thank you all for watching, and until next week, I'm gonna be seeing you guys later.